Mommy, take this. You're eating the snow. You're supposed to play in it, not eat it. You have no clue what's going on, do you? What is this white stuff? It's yummy. He just wants to eat it. That's all. He's living his best life right now. Hey guys, I felt very spontaneous and I have to do a lot of reading to finish my Goodreads reading goal. Okay, it's not a lot of reading, but it's 3 books, which to me feels like a lot of reading right now. Especially considering the month's already half over. Yeah, it's currently December 15th, which is also my sister's birthday. But I decided that I'm going to do a reading vlog of this whole week to basically kick myself in the butt and get me to read. It's actually really late at night. It's already past 7 o'clock. And the reason I didn't start this sooner is because I actually slept in until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which was not okay at all. I was really tired, but I did not need that much sleep. And then afterwards, I had a lot of stuff to do. I had to exercise, and I had a video to edit, so I wouldn't have to do it later on this week because I have a lot of last-minute Christmas stuff to get done. And what else did I do? I cooked, and I had to help Mom with my aunt. So that was like stuff that didn't take very long, but at the same time it was stuff that, you know, we kind of had to wait on. It's like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and it's like it wasn't worth like actually starting the vlog unless I could have like uninterrupted filming time. So I'm sorry about Kai too, by the way. I kind of lured him into the room with the squeaker so I could actually shut my door, and he's just living his best life right now. It actually snowed earlier today. I have a couple clips of that I will probably show somewhere. I'll either show it at the beginning of this video, so you guys have already seen it, or I will show them at the end. But it's basically Kai just living his best life in the snow, aka just eating the snow. Since it's so late at night, I'm not going to do a whole lot of filming. I'm most likely just going to relax and read and maybe either start rewatching Case Closed, a really good anime by the way, so that I can finish it, because I've only watched the English episodes. I haven't watched the Japanese episodes, and I need to finish it because it's such a good anime, and it's just, wasn't it in all adapted to English? Anyways, I'll either watch that or I may watch Harry Potter, because I've been in a Harry Potter mood. Not like in a reread mood. I was in a reread mood earlier on, and it's just, I didn't end up rereading all the books, which is fine, because that would have took way too long. But it's just the fact that I am now in like, I need to watch the mood. And that's probably because I just finished watching like the second Fantastic Beasts movie, which I don't understand why everybody said that it was so much worse than the first movie, because in my opinion, I liked the second one better. You guys see what I have to deal with when he's not playing? He just stares at me constantly, like I'm supposed to be doing something, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I've already fed him, I've already taken him out, and he just continuously stares at me like that. And that is one of the most irritating things to me. I hate being stared at. Doesn't matter if it's a cute little puppy, I hate being stared at. So I'm doing everything to just ignore him right now so I don't kick him out of the room. Because, I mean, nothing gets on my nerves more, and why is he staring at me? I also plan on doing a mini book haul of all the books that I bought on Cyber Monday. They actually just got here yesterday, and I figured what better way to start off a reading vlog than to show you guys some of the books that I've recently bought. But let's get to showing you guys what I actually plan on reading this week. And first off, I plan on rereading The Maze Runner. I'm actually only 30 pages into this, and it's, I don't know. It's slower going than I expected because this is a reread. I mean, it's been 2 years since I read the book, but I figured going on the limited time I actually had to read this book, I could have at least been like at least 50 or 60 pages in by now. But I don't know. I think actually once I sit down and start reading, the pace will pick up a whole lot, which I'm hoping for, because this book is also a lot longer than I remember. And once I finish this book, I need to read Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This book I really know nothing about other than it's a Cinderella retelling, and hopefully it exceeds my expectations, because since it's a Cinderella retelling, I don't have many expectations for it, even if I've heard so many great things about this series. After I finish this book, I may pick up Scarlet, which I have all the way down here. I have Scarlet, Crest, Winter, Stars Above, and then all the rest of her books. And please excuse the dustiness of my shelves. I have to actually clean all of my bookshelves sometime this week, which is not going to be fun at all. I also have to clean the bathroom, which I'm not looking forward to either. I got a lot of cleaning that I had to do this week, which is... honestly, this whole week is going to be filled with stuff. Tomorrow, I actually have to run to town to run errands. So you guys will be coming with me for that. But other than that, it's like mostly cleaning, decorating, maybe a little bit of baking. I don't know. It depends on all what my mom wants to do with the bakingness, because I really, I like baking, but not at the quantity that we need to, because we have this huge Christmas party every year with all of my family members, and little to no one brings anything. It's like we have maybe 1 or 2 family members that bring food, but other than that, it's like me and my mom and my stepdad just cooking for like 30 people. And it's like, okay, this is not a catering business. Can one of you bring food that is not a dessert? My aunt is the only one that actually brings anything that's actually edible for dinner and not dessert. These are all of the books that I actually bought from the book outlet for Cyber Monday. There's 11 here, I think, and I can't even remember how much money I spent, but I know it was like under $40. First off, I have a manga, and that is volume 12 of Sir Vamp. Next up, I got Wolf by Ryan Garden. I don't know how to say his last name. This is a historical fiction, and it's about a girl who participates in a race to have the opportunity to kill Hitler. And that's pretty much all I know about this book. And I believe it's actually a trilogy, and I most likely will not be continuing with the trilogy unless I read this book and I really enjoy it. I've heard a lot of people actually enjoy it, but I've never heard of anyone, or I haven't heard anyone talking about the second book. Also, this was not the cover that was shown when I bought it, so I'm kind of mad about having this cover instead of the other one, because I like the other cover so much better. Next up, I have Nemesis by Brendan Wrights. Let's just pretend all of the names that I say in this video are correct, and that I just don't suck at saying them. Now, I've had this book on my wish list on the book outlet for a long time, so I, off the top of my head, can't remember what this was actually about. Also, this is signed, which is very confusing. It wasn't listed as a signed copy, and it doesn't have a signed copy anywhere on it. So, yay, I got a signed copy. But then we have All the Wandering Lights by Heather Fawcett. And I have the book Even the Darkest Stars, which is the first book to this duology, I believe. I got it in a Fairy Loot unboxing, so I don't know which one that was, but I know it's been a while, and I knew the second book came out, and I wasn't really interested in getting to the series right away until I saw on the cover here where the main character has like a little dragon on her shoulder, or flying by her shoulder, or whatever. So there's dragons in this, like pet-sized dragons, and now I really want to get into it because I've never read a book where they have pet dragons, at least, you know, the hand-sized ones. I'm like checking to make sure all of these books aren't signed now, because I love signed copies of books, and it's just, this is a signed copy, but it actually specifies that it is, although I didn't know it was one when I bought it. This is Darius the Great Is Not Okay, by, I'm not even gonna try to say that name. Let's just pretend I did. But this, I believe, is an LGBTQ novel. And then we have The Door That Led to Where by Sally Gardner. And this book I was kind of iffy about getting, because apparently it's about this teenage boy who finds a key to this door, and him and his friends go inside, and it kind of like takes them to this whole different time period. I'm not sure if it's a existing time period, like as in these are events that happened, or if it's like a fictional one where it's like an alternate dimension, kind of separate timeline kind of thing. I didn't really look much into it, but I think this is a standalone, and it's a very short standalone for what I expect. I expected this to be like a really thick book about him and his friends going on adventures and whatnot, but it's actually pretty thin, and that scares me because a lot of the shorter books that I've read that have like a fantastical element into it, just they don't turn out very well. Next up, I have The Reveal by Chris Witz. I know I said that wrong, but this is the third and final book to the Young World trilogy. I haven't read The Young World yet, but that was because I wanted to get all of the books. And for its third book, this is also really, really thin and worries me. Then, the one book I was really hoping I would be able to get on the book outlet, Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. And this is the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I have not started that series because I want to get all the books first. And the last book is kind of expensive right now from where I normally shop for books. So I'm kind of waiting till it's on the book outlet. This is one of those books that I'm just going to go in blind. I mean, I know a lot about Stalking Jack the Ripper, and I know quite a bit about Prince Dracula. Like, not a lot, but I know more about Jack the Ripper than I do about either Prince Dracula or Houdini or whoever the fourth book is about. I actually can't remember off the top of my head. So, besides the first book, I'm going in blind in all of these. I have Arch Enemies by Marissa Myers, and this is the second book to the Renegades series. I don't know how many books are actually in the series. Last but not least, I have The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon, and this is the third book in the Bone season, and I do believe there's 6 books to this series. So I think it was originally a trilogy, and then she decided she's going to write 3 more books, which this third book is incredibly short as well. What is with very, very short books and the third book in the series? It's like, I don't get it. I really love the sound of the Bone season. I can't remember what it's about. This Bone season is one of those books where I read the summary and I like love it, but then it's like I forget it like completely like 5 minutes later. So I have high hopes for the series, but at the same time it's like this is gonna be one of the series that I probably just read straight through, which I mostly do that to series. I mean, the only like real exceptions are Percy Jackson. Well, I shouldn't say Percy Jackson because that series ended a long time ago. Rick Riordan, he's like one of the authors that I'll just like read the book as soon as it comes out or as soon as I can. And then I guess you could say Cassandra Clare, but in all honesty, she has 2 books out right now. And oh, I did get the Red Scroll of Magic. That was really crazy cheap at Half Price Books, so I ended up buying a copy of that. Because I do love Alec and Magnus, and if I ever do decide to read a Cassandra Clare book again, I will have it, and I got it for really cheap. Well, that's it for my haul, so I'm going to go try to read probably at least 50 to 70 pages of The Maze Runner, and I'll probably talk to you guys tomorrow, because it's really late at night. I still have to eat. I may check in as the night progresses, but I'm just shooting for tomorrow because I don't want to feel too stressed. This week is going to be stressful enough without me adding to it. I know you guys can't see me very well, but I'm outside taking Kai to the bathroom and it's snowing again and I'm absolutely in love with this. Kai, are you eating all the snow when you're supposed to be going potty? So I'm currently on page 67 of The Maze Runner. Haven't got very far since I talked to you guys last time, about 30 pages. So nothing has really happened except for Teresa showing up, which I completely forgot that she shows up, not even 24 hours, but since Thomas got there. And if I'm right, she wakes up in about 3 days in later time. But anyways, I just got to the part where Thomas is in the Deadlands, or Deadheads. I keep on wanting to call it Deadlands because it sounds so much better than Deadheads. But I just got to the part where he stumbles across the graves, and first off, George, who I believe is Brenda's brother, shows up, or, well, he doesn't show up living. His gravesite is there, and it made me think of Brenda and everything, and the fact that her brother, she was hoping to reconnect with, is kind of deader than a doornail. I'm not really sure if the brother fact of her, like, I don't know if people learn about that throughout the Maze Runner series or if that's like in the Fever Code, but I do recall her brother being named George and being thrown into the maze. And Kai's looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm not crazy, honey. But what I really wanted to film this update for is the fact that the first grave that Thomas stumbles upon is, well, it's fresh, and so it hasn't been there very long, but it's for a boy named Stefan. And from the book it says, Stefan, Thomas thought, feeling an unexpected but detached sorrow. For those of you who don't know, if you haven't read the Fever Code, Thomas's real name is Stefan. So the fact that the grave is fresh makes me believe that Wicked actually named another child Stefan when they wouldn't have even had to change Thomas's name at all. I almost called him Styles because I've been watching the movies lately. But it's just, why did you feel the need to rename Thomas when he could have just kept his name? And it's so sad that he doesn't remember this is his name, but he still feels a detached sorrow for the kid who shares the same name as him, even if he doesn't remember. It's just, it's so sad. And it had me tearing up just a little bit thinking about the past and identity that Thomas lost. There's something else that I kind of want to tell you guys, but I'm not sure if it's spoilery. I'm not sure if people would consider it a spoiler just because it really doesn't have any importance to the Maze Runner series because you don't learn it in the series. And unless you read the prequels, you won't know this either. And I almost put down the prequel when I found out that it was about Teresa. It was her past and whatnot before she even came to Wicked. But it explains a lot about Teresa and why she does what she does, but at the same time, it really is no forgiving what she did. If you guys haven't read the prequels, if you want to know more about this series as a whole and Wicked and everything, I recommend them. But if you really don't care, then they're not really the books that I would read. The Fever Code either. The Fever Code was like the most boring book out of like all of James Dashner's that I've read so far. But anyways, the little tidbit of knowledge that I was going to share before I started ranting was the fact that the government is actually the ones who made the flare virus. And the reason Wicked was created is because, well, they created it because it was population control, because the sun flares and everything was causing, like, they didn't have enough resources and there was too many people, so they created the virus as like a population control. Then, once it got out of hand to the point where people were becoming mutants and it just was becoming a very bad time for everyone, they created Wicked to come up with a cure for their own virus. Why they would spread a virus without having a cure, I don't know. And why they also let it mutate to the levels it mutated, I also don't know. It's like there's several things they could have done to prevent what happened. But yeah, I'm gonna go read more. That's enough information that you guys probably didn't want or need, but I felt like sharing it anyways. And here's Kai, looking at me like I'm a complete insane person. You're so cute. You're so adorable. Oh, you want a tummy rub? You want a tummy rub? Oh, that's a sweet little boy. Yes. Yes. Good morning, everyone. It's currently 9:20 in the morning, and I've been up since 5 o'clock, so I'm a little bit tired. I haven't done really anything this morning except play video games, and which was just Fortnite and Minecraft. They added beasts to Minecraft, so I had to go find some. Yeah, I just been laying around with Kai and playing video games, and I just finished eating breakfast. which was my mom fixed potatoes and sausage. I don't know why I can think of sausage. My brain is tired. But that, and then I cooked myself some eggs to add in with it, and I ate very, very little. So nothing really fancy or exciting. Last night I did get to page 78 of the Maze Runner, which I wanted to get like at least 100 pages in, so that didn't happen. But it was like 1 o'clock and I was getting really, really tired, so I ended up, and the internet went out, so that's pretty much the time where I go to sleep. It's like the internet's out, time to go to bed. I was watching Dr. Lupo play Fortnite. It was older videos, he wasn't live or anything. Right now I'm watching Button play Minecraft, and I'm addicted to Twitch. It's a serious problem, and I probably should do something about it, but I don't want to. My plans have changed for today. I was planning on going to the Social Security office in town to take some paperwork, but my mom said that I didn't specifically have to be the person to take it as long as it got there before the 31st. So the next person who goes to town is going to be taking it, and I didn't have to go out today, which is really, really nice. Especially since it's really foggy out, and it's like we had rain on top of the snow, so I don't know what the roads look like. And tomorrow the roads are supposed to be like horrifying. So I'm not going anywhere tomorrow either. But that means I can get a lot more stuff done around the house, and I don't have to like rush, because I tell you, when I don't want to go somewhere, I rush like crazy because I don't want to go, so I speed unnecessarily. So today's plans have shifted. I was planning on just going to town, getting all those errands done, and then I was going to come home, take a bath, and just read all day. I still plan on taking a bath and reading, but I may do that later tonight. So today I think I'm going to plan out my bullet journal pages for January, because I have finished all my yearly pages, and I even added in a couple of pages for like time-saving activities and like music I'm loving, because I've been listening to a lot of music here in the past few months, and I just want to like write all of them down so I don't forget them. I was going to take one earlier, but as you can probably tell from the raggedness in my hair, I took a nap, and that nap lasted about 4 hours. So I really haven't done any reading today. In all honesty, I started to take a shower because my legs hurt so much from my exercising yesterday that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get out of the bathtub. But I feel like soaking them will help a lot more than standing right now. So I will get out of the bathtub some way. And of course, Kai is joining me on this little journey. This is his little towel that he likes to lay on when I take a shower. But more than likely, he's just going to be like standing there staring at me the whole time I'm taking a bath, because that's what he usually does. He's so cute. Hey guys, it's Tuesday, December 7th. It's currently 4:30 in the afternoon because I've spent the day going between sleeping and cleaning, so I didn't think that was very interesting to watch, so I didn't film any of that. But I did read a lot last night before I went to bed. I am currently on page, let's see, 208. So I'm a little over halfway done with the book, and I'm hoping to knock out at least another 60-some pages tonight if I have the time. So far, like out of everything I read yesterday since my last update with you guys, I'm starting to really miss Newt. I mean, I know he's in this book, and I know we're getting to see a lot of him, but I miss him so much because I know it happens, and it's just not fair. I'm also dreading when Teresa wakes up. Teresa's like one of my least favorite characters in the entire series, and I honestly could care less if she ever woke up. But things have got to happen, and I'm just not okay with it. I think right now, before I exercise, I'm going to fix myself something to eat, which probably isn't the best idea, but my stomach has made itself heard, and it won't shut up. So I'm gonna go eat. So I got lunch. It's meatballs and rice, because it's the only thing I had in the house that I could warm up, except for vegetable soup, and I just didn't feel like vegetable soup. I have Kai down here, very interested in my lunch. So I just got done exercising. There's one exercise that I couldn't do. Here's Kai, by the way, just being Kai. But There's one exercise I couldn't do called the plank pull through. Is that what it's called? No, not plank pull through. What was it called? Because it was, I want you guys to look this up and see if you can do it, because seriously, it's like the worst exercise ever. It's the plank reach through. I have done planks several times in my life. You even have to do 2 planks on this workout. The one regular plank I can do. The plank pull through, it's just, no, I'm not up to that level yet. I can't do that. So I did have to skip one exercise, but I still did a lot of them. Especially, I did a lot of jumping jacks. So many jumping jacks. So I was planning on picking up the Maze Runner and reading a good chunk of it before I had to help get my aunt ready for bed and everything. But I decided I wanted to relax a little bit, so I am going to be playing Pokemon Shield. I'm trying to complete the Pokedex. It's not going well. Or I guess it is going well depending on your view of things. I have like maybe, I think, a little over 30 left. But a lot are like evolutions and trades and a lot of stuff that is just really hard to do, and it's just you. I forgot how little time Thomas actually spends in the maze. Not the maze itself, but even the glade. It's like this book takes place in like a week, and we don't really get to see a lot of the aspects of the glade. I mean, yes, there's a lot of world building in the beginning, and it tells us a bunch of stuff that, you know, we needed to know about the gladers and their jobs and everything, but at the same time we really don't get to experience it, which I'm kind of sad about. I would actually love to follow a story that maybe follows Newt in the maze, like him being there, everything he's gone through, why he did what he did while he was in the maze. I wonder if Wicked has any control over how curious they are, because there's a lot of stuff in this book that seems questionable, that everybody's like, oh, you're the only one that's actually asked these questions, or you're being way too curious for your own good. And it's like, okay, I can understand coming up to this place and like spending like the first couple days crying, but after that I would try to find a way out. I mean, I for one would probably have a panic attack when I first, well actually while I was in the box, because I have claustrophobia, but I don't know. Besides the panic attack at the very beginning, I think I would spend like the majority of my time trying to find a way out and not waste it crying. I know they can control their actions and their movements and how much they tell people, but their own curiosity, it's just, how much control does Wicked have over these kids? And I can't remember like all of the details, but how are they controlling these kids? Is it the same like chip thing that's in the movies? If so, when exactly do those get taken out? It's been a couple years since I read the books, so I can't remember if they ever get taken out. All of this is really making me want to reread the entire series, but I'm not going to do that because of Newt, and I don't want my heart broken again. But I'll probably end up just looking up all of these answers on the computer like after I've finished reading. But rant over, I'm gonna get back to reading. Teresa's memory loss is becoming less and less viable by the minute, considering she apparently knows what a griever is. And knowing the word griever is one thing that she could possibly hear people talking about in her coma, like she has stated, but there's no way she would know what a griever is, how big it is, the fact that it can't squeeze through the tiny window of her cell. To me, all this points to Teresa 100% having her memory. Okay, so it's literally 1 minute after midnight and I finally finished The Maze Runner. And a couple of thoughts before I get into like my overall feelings about the book in comparison to when I first read it. The epilogue does pretty much say that Teresa lost her memories and that Wicked was good was the last thing she chose to write before she lost her memories. But that makes little sense that she actually did lose her memories, unless maybe the creators got to pick and choose which memories she lost instead of like overhauling her entire memory like they did everyone else's and just keeping the basic facts. Maybe they allowed her to keep a few details here and there, like the whole grievers and everything. I mean, it doesn't change my feelings for Teresa at all if she did actually lose her memory, because I absolutely hate her, and I honestly wish that she had missed the griever hole and just continued to fall. But, you know, she gets her justice in the end. I'm just bitter that it took so long to happen. I also feel like the ending part where they're traveling through the maze to get to the griever hole, and then when they get inside it and make it all the way to where the creators are and they get to watch the creators die, I just feel like the way the book did it was a much more visceral experience than it was in the movie. I loved the movie, don't get me wrong. I loved it. I loved the way it happened and everything. And technically they did get to see bits and pieces of it, and the kids were so much more traumatized, or at least you got the feeling of more trauma happening than in the book. But I really loved the way they actually got to watch all of them get gunned down in this one. And what they did with Gally at the end here was also more of a testament to Wicked's manipulation than it was in the movie, because in the movie I honestly can't tell if they were manipulating Gally to act this way, if he was just stung out of his mind, or what was all going on in his head at the time. But in this one, he's 100% under the control of Wicked. He knows it, but he can't do anything about it. He can't even warn them. So I don't know, in book comparison to movie, the movies were fantastic, phenomenal. I love them so much, but at the same time I wish there was a lot of things that had been taken from the book and put into the movie. Just little things like Gally's control, you know, manipulation. Not Gally's manipulation, but the creator's manipulation of Gally. I wish that had been done more. Albie being a lunatic towards the end, I think was more on the creator's side as well. I think it was like half of the creators and half of the fact that he just wanted out of that situation. So that leads me into my feelings for the book in comparison with the first time I read it. My feelings are a bit different. I definitely feel like this book still deserves the 4 out of 5 stars I gave it originally. It was definitely slower. It just felt like some parts of the book were just overly detailed, and he could have gotten away with making it less descriptive and would have made the pace faster. But then again, you really got a full-formed picture of the maze in your mind. I think the reason I loved this book so much when I first read it is because I read it so quickly. I actually read this book for the first time when me and my family were on vacation, and me and my sister were planning on watching the first 2 Maze Runner movies. I'm pretty sure I had read this book in like maybe a day and a half, 2 days. I read it really quickly, and then I also flew through the second book as well, and that was mainly due to the fact that we were only there a week, and if we were going to watch the movies together, I needed to, you know, rush through the books. I lingered a little bit on the Death Cure, but I still finished that one as well, I think that same week. But the fact that I read them so quickly was the big part of my love for it. And then I immediately watched the movies afterwards, fell in love with the movies, and it was a combination of all that. So do I think this book is as good as I originally thought? No, because I did read it like super duper fast, and a lot of my thoughts and feelings about the book couldn't fully process because I had read it so quickly, where this time I lingered. I think I've been reading this book for 3 or 4 days now, and honestly, it's still a good book. It's just not as good as I remember it.